How to do, folks? How are y'all doing? Cub here, and welcome to another episode of our Sorcery Let's Play adventure. I am back, and I've traded in my Harry Potter mug for one of I believe this is a Joe's Crab Shack design, yeah. Gifted to me by one of my cousins, and it actually has coffee in it this week, although it's not completely full. I didn't fill the whole thing up, it's about halfway. Yeah, that's definitely going to power this adventure. Now, where we last left off, we had just discovered, I think it was a village of headhunters. As you crest the brow of a hill, you see something that makes you stop in your tracks. To your left is a clearing, and in the clearing are several poles planted firmly to the ground, and atop each pole is a head! Yes, indeed! We have found a village full of headhunters. Let's look at the heads. The heads are all kinds and ages. Some are recently fixed, while others have decayed, and some are nothing but skulls and hair. They are human heads, goblin heads, and one or two heads of creatures that you do not recognize. All have sewn-up eyes and mouths, so they're kind of like... I imagine that's what they would look like. Now, I've got to keep an eye on my recording again this week. Same issue as last time. I actually already tried to record this episode, but every time I hit record, it crashed. So I switched some USB cables around. It appears to be working fine. Let's hope it stays that way. A large X is painted on a rock nearby, and is obviously intended as a warning not to venture any further. But ahead, the road forks, left and right. You cannot be sure which path you are warned not to take. The right-hand path continues to climb, and the left-hand path winds down the side of the hill. Alright, so, some of you may recall earlier in the game, we received two riddles from two separate people. So, very early on, we went to the Hills of Dadulay, which I don't think counts anymore since we did rewind the story so we could go through Cantopani. However, we did get this rhyme, and I would think it bears repeating, so... In a long empty mine roams a terrible beast, whose slaying it will be your duty in time. But should you meet early in mines to the west, creep inward and burn him, remember this rhyme. So I've been looking at the map before I started recording, and I did notice that there was two forks, and I figured we'd have to choose which course, because I'm, I don't know, a magician and I can see the future. And I have played this game before, but like I said, I took a completely different path. I went across these grasslands here. It's completely irrelevant. But I think we should go to those mines, because there's some mines here, it's to the west, there's something in there we're supposed to slay. Also, an old man gave us a rhyme as well, you guys may recall. And that rhyme reads as follows. I've got to find it here on my phone. I take screenshots of all these things so I don't forget. See him though he sees you not, a stinging beast in a box not left. To guard a key it is his lot, to goal a witch of luck bereft. I don't know what that means. But dadgummit, we're gonna go fight a beast with fire in a mine. Does that not sound like fun? I think that's what's happening. It depends on whether or not we interpret those clues correctly. The climb continues up the next hill for several hours until you're not far from the top. Then a faint sound of bustling activity reaches you. Tramping feet, grunting voices, and the clanking of metal against rock. There is something ahead, hidden by ancient trees that line these slopes. Let's follow the sound. You leave the path and continue through the woods. A short distance onward, you hide behind a tree and survey a clearing. A number of goblins are in the clearing, working at the mouth of an open cave. They trudge in and out of the opening, carrying large bowls in their arms, piled up with glistening rocks and dull metallic nuggets. Let's watch them work. You stay hidden, getting a sense of the scale of the operation. There are at least 30 goblins inside the cave, each coming out every few minutes or so with a new pile of stones. Then there are other goblins working in the clearing with hammers, smashing the rocks up into small pieces, extracting metals from inside, loading them into carts, and finally pushing the carts away down a wide track between the trees. It is quite some operation, but not without its weaknesses. There are too many goblins to create any kind of distraction, but they move away into the trees fairly often, and sometimes the cave is left unguarded. Let's try to slip inside that cave. Now, I imagine my avatar inside of this game is a bit like myself. A little bit on the larger side, 6 foot or so tall, a healthy 240 pounds. I don't think he would be slipping around, especially not if we're in any kind of armor, but I don't make these decisions, he does. You creep closer, moving around the side of the hill nearer to the entrance of the cave. Then, when all is quiet, you seize your chance and race across the clearing into the mouth of the cave. We're in! We're in the mines. You pause a moment at the cave mouth, but no one has seen you. Following the passage cautiously, you move between the cool rock walls and the mine, passing and ignoring ladders that lead down into the mine Oh, into the clamoring heart of the mine, where hundreds of goblins sing as they work. Hi ho, it's off to work we go. We've got Snow White and the hundreds of goblins. It's the alternative version of Snow White, in which Snow White was actually like the slave boss of like 100 goblins she has working in a mine. Very different story. Same song though. Hi ho, we're off to... Okay, you get the idea. Eventually you reach a junction. We have to go left or right. Now, and what's-his-face's rhyme, the old man that we pulled out of a tree, he told us to go right, and not left is what he told us. A beast not left, or in a box not left, which I interpreted meant we took this fork to the right, which he may mean that we have to go right again? It's worth a shot. Let's go give it a try. You know, let's walk underneath the river first. And you follow the passage to the right. It twists around deeper into the hillside and ends in a sealed door. Let's try the door. Try the door, and it is locked! We cast a spell because I happen to know that we have a spell to unlock doors. Uh-oh. Howdy, folks, we are back. We had the entire recording crash. I think the problem is I'm compressing a file in the background, or I'm using compressor to transcode a file in the background. I think it's sucking up a lot of system resources, which is why maybe I was having trouble before and am still having trouble. I'm trying a different program though instead of QuickTime to record this, and hopefully that will help the situation, because QuickTime is very resource intensive, like in a really odd way, like you wouldn't think it would be. I've rewound the story though. We're back at the entrance to the cave. We're gonna go back in. I'm not sure what we missed, but what I did was go around. We went to the right. We tried the door, and then I think we got this far before I decided to cast a spell. And in casting a spell, the whole recording just crashed. I don't know if that was just too much going on the screen for the game to handle, but in any case, we do know that DOP is what unlocks the door, and I got this far before I even looked up and realized that the game had crashed. So I know what's on the other side of the door. It's going to be a mystery to you guys. And it's this big ugly guy. Check that guy out. So you cast the spell, the door shutters, and the locks turn over, and then the handle moves of its own accord. On your guard, you watch as it swings open. The room beyond is large, and it appears to be a storeroom of some kind. In one corner is a pile of black rocks, and more rocks are held in a bucket nearby. These flicker with a dull, glistening light. The most intriguing of all is what stands in the center of the space. A mechanical apparatus, perhaps a press or a stone cutter, being operated by a large and powerful ogre. I'm an ogre! I've got lots of layers like an onion. That was some Shrek there for you. He does not for the moment seem to notice you. And this was the point at which I looked up and realized everything had gone kaput. So you've caught up with me. Congratulations. Let's continue the adventure. We're going to watch him work. Certain he has not noticed your sudden arrival in the room, you stay in the shadows and watch as the ogre goes about his task. He is dropping stones from a black pile into one end of the machine and turning a heavy handle, crunching the rock. Something is coming out the other side. To see what, you'd have to approach him, as he is between you and the outlet of the machine. Let's approach the ogre. What's the worst that can happen? Boldly, you step out of the doorway and into the pool of candlelight that fills the room. The ogre stops working immediately and turns to face you, growling incomprehensibly like the slug he is. You'll not be able to reason with him. Cast a spell. So this is not the creature that I thought we would be facing in here. What we're facing in here is... or what I thought we'd be facing in here, something completely different. However, maybe we can still take this guy down with fire. I don't know what the fire spell is, though. I haven't actually... well, that's called stupidity, and I don't think that's going to help us any with the troll. Fire. You would think that F would be involved there, but we don't seem to have that as an option. We've tried that weird symbol. Let's go to K. Can't do anything with K. Oh, okay. Is there, like, no other... no, K is useless to us right now. R? O... K. Turn to stone! If we had stone dust, we could turn them to stone. That would have been great. We don't have stone dust, though. We already tried R. We've tried K. We've tried W? W... okay, let's try W-O... walk. So we can create a shield, which might be worth doing. Or we can... create an invisible wall, which requires more stamina. So here's the thing, I think we're going to have to fight the guy, and we could get out of the fight relatively unscathed. Ugh, it's going to be tricky, though. Alright, let's... if we create a wall, he can't get to us. But if we kill him, we might have treasure. So that was wall. This was... Okay, let's create a shield. And then let's go into combat with him. You place a coin on your wrist and cast the spell. You feel the shield, a thing of blessing and enchantment, expand into position. The ogre will not even be able to see it. Will not even be able to see it to avoid it. You are not a moment too slow either. The ogre is on you. So I'm thinking ogre, big guy, is going to come in with a big strong attack. I was right. So we've avoided any damage by standing back and just letting him attack us. Now let's hit him with everything we've got. We're going to charge him. Oh, yeah, baby. He's taken 2. Okay, stealing your courage, you move in, aiming to trap the ogre against the cave wall. Readying a forceful blow, you hurtle forwards. It turns away as though not seeing the blow would stop it landing. But then you see its hind, blah, 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 blah. Let's defend. Yeah, he did another relatively strong attack. We're going to come back with another strong one ourselves. Yes. Oh, this is going so well. Okay, let's just defend for a couple of turns. So he comes in, weak attack. He's probably going to come in with another weak attack if I know ogres. No, he came in with a strong one. That would have been the perfect chance. Okay, let's defend. He defended 2. Okay, well, that's good because we didn't waste an attack. And now we're fully charged up. We can do a full attack. Oh, and we just barely beat him. Look at that. Readying yourself, you move in. Mustering a lumbering blow, you lunge forward. Then you swing again, and the sword cleaves into the ogre's side. He gurgles unhappily as he slumps to the floor. You breathe a sigh of relief. You are still alive. No stamina lost. Flawless fighting. Wow. I feel pretty good about that. Okay. Continue. While the dying ogre heaves his last breath, you investigate the room. Let's try out the machine. Going over to the enormous machine, you try cranking the handle to see what happens. But you simply do not have the strength to make it move. Following the tubes and chutes of the machine, you discover a large gem, an emerald about the size of your fist. It should be good for trade, around the value of 10 gold pieces. You place it carefully into your bag. Search the table. You look through heaps of rock on the table to see if any catch your eye. They all seem fairly ordinary. Let's search the corners of the room. Moving to the corners of the room, you do a careful sweep. After a few minutes, you come across something soot-covered but solid. Wiping it with your tunic, you find a second large gem, which you take. You've searched the room thoroughly now. It is time to be going before someone comes to find the ogre. You head back to the fork in the passage. The sunlight from outside is very tempting. But 9! We're not leaving just yet, I say. Let's, so we got 2 gems. Were they both the same kind? Let's see. Treasure? 2 emeralds. Fantastic. I wonder if emeralds can be used in spells. I don't know. I'll have to check the spell book. Let's try the left fork, though, and see what we find. The passageway continues until you reach a large stone-cut door blocking your way forward. For a mine, this place seems well built up. Perhaps it will serve as a camp if war comes. Now, why would they be preparing for war? Try the handle. This is a fairly... Oh my good gosh, what is that? You try the door, it opens. The room beyond is dirty with soot from the mines, so it can almost be a pit filled with night itself. With crystals in the rock... if crystals in the rock of stars... Oh, with crystals in the rock of... skip the whole sentence, to heck with it. In the far wall, you can just make out another door leading deeper into the mine, but in the middle of the room is a table with a large filthy goblin where a large filthy goblin is sitting. He raises his head as you enter and smells the air. Perhaps he is almost blind from so long underground. "This smell is strange, intruder," he challenges. "You're not permitted here." "I am a friend." "Are you now?" "I'm not." The goblin rises to his feet. In his hand, he holds a large stone club. Am I going to fight the goblin? This is still not the creature I thought I was going to have to fight, but whatever. Let's cast a spell and let's see if we can chunk fire his way. I think that might be a good idea. What have we got here? We have got... Zap, I think is what we've got here, so we can shoot electricity at him. Cast lightning, but that's going to take up some stamina, and I'm not too game on that just yet. We have T-E-L. So we could read minds if we had a skull cap, which we don't. Unfortunately, we need to get one of those soon. We got R-A Raz. Sharpen blade requires beeswax. We have beeswax, but we're not going to sharpen our blade. We don't need that right now. I'm not sure what that would even gain us. So we got Raz. I mean, as far as the options we have here, none of them are very intriguing, except for maybe... what was Tell? Read minds. No, what was the first one we tried? I can't even remember now. It must have been... Alright, we're gonna zap him with electricity. It's gonna take up 3 stamina, but what the heck. You cast the spell, and a bolt of lightning shoots from your fingertips at the goblin. He reels back and hits the floor, quite dead. We've killed him. With the goblin defeated, there's nothing to stop you moving further into the room. So let's search the room first before we go onward. But before you do, you quickly scour the corners of the dark room in case there's any gold or weapons lying around. You find nothing until you search the goblin himself. He's wearing a silver key on a chain around his neck. You lift it. Let's go onwards. Time to see what more this mine has to offer. Now, didn't the old man's thing say something about a key? A stinging beast in a box not left. To guard a key, it is his lot. Yes! See him, though he sees you not. He's blind. A stinging beast in a box not left. To guard a key, it is his lot. Look at that. We slayed the goblin. We got the key. The stinging beast is what I think we're going to be facing in this mine. If these two weird riddles we've been given are similar. Time to see what this mine has to offer. Further into the mine. We've got the silver key now from the blind fellow. You open the door into the pitch black hallway. We can go into the darkness, or we can cast a spell. Do we have a spell for light? Like maybe, oh, wait, no, hold on. The very first thing said to sneak up. Go through the darkness. You push on into the depths of the mine. Dust falls from the low ceiling. Your hand moves over the precarious wooden beams that hold the walls from tumbling in. Then you stumble, foot catching a support. The support cracks. A piece of rock the size of your head tumbles through the gap in the ceiling, narrowly missing your skull. A rain of stone and dust follows. The ceiling is coming apart. Push onward! You are gripped by an insane idea, racing through the darkness of an unknown mine as the only exit is sealed off behind you. Do it! The crashing shaft behind you lends you speed, then suddenly you gasp as your foot fails to touch ground below. I'm falling. You begin to drop. There can be only moments. Concentrate on landing well or cast a spell. What do you think we're going to do? I think we're going to take the wizard's route here. We're going to cast a spell. We happen to have one that will slow our fall. I think it's this one. Float in air. Yes. You cast the spell, and your fall is broken instantly. You float gently to the ground below, landing softly on your knees. We're at the base of a pit. We've moved under the river. We've actually gone quite a way through the map. You pick yourself up and look around. You're at the base of a deep shaft. It's hard to be sure how far you've fallen, but the top is lost. But the top is lost is darkness. I think that is supposed to be an N. Still, it's not pitch black down here. A chink of light penetrates from somewhere, far away. A crack nearby or a tunnel mouth. A long way off, you cannot tell. Start walking. Calmly, and without delay, you start to walk toward the point of light. It gets larger but slowly, and your hopes lift with every step. It's definitely a way out. You can see sky beyond. Your hands are running along the tunnel walls to keep you straight. Then the ceiling comes down, and you crawl for a few feet, then freeze. Your hand is resting on something furry. This might be it. Okay. Pull back. You pull back for a moment to see if the furry shape will move, but it stays still, asleep or dead. At any rate, you cannot turn around and go another way. Okay. Creep past the thing, investigate the thing. Let's investigate it. You reach out. Oh, darn it. Hold on. You reach out with a thinking that whatever it is at least small. You grip closer. Okay. Let's restart this. You reach out with a thinking that whatever it is at least small. Your grip closes on the furry on the thing. It's not warm. That's a good sign. And it squishes easily, as if the bones have been turned to jelly. You pull it closer to yourself and realize you are holding a pair of fur boots. You laugh with relief and quickly scramble the rest of the way along the tunnel to the sunlight. It's an opening. Are you sure? No, we're supposed to fight a beast in these mines. The climb out of the cave takes several hours, but it's worth it every moment. When you emerge into the cool, fresh air, you have escaped with your life. Let's take a moment to examine the boots. You turn the boots over in your hand. You recognize the fur. It is boar skin. They will be very useful if you head through snowy climbs. Then it's time to get moving. You set off once more, looking for a path to get your bearings. I'm not content with this. We're gonna go back and we're gonna replay that scenario because there's a monster in these mines, and we killed the goblin with a key. We went in deeper. You pick yourself up, start walking. Let's react differently. Let's not pull back. Let's grasp it. No, it's still boots. So is it, no matter what we do, is it gonna be boots? Look, I thought everything in here was suggesting that we were going to fight something that you have to fight later in the game anyway. And I thought we were going to be able to take it out early. Let's draw my sword. Investigate this thing. So no matter what we do, it's just a pair of boots. We didn't have any other options in here, though, did we? We could have gone back when the cave started to collapse, but that wouldn't have gotten us anywhere. We pretty much went everywhere we could go. I guess we have no other option but to leave the cave, then. The climb out of the cave takes several hours, but it's worth every moment when you emerge into the cool, fresh air. We take a moment to examine the boots. Excellent. Review map. Further on. Well, that was a bit of a disappointment. It was not what I expected, but that's what you get from this game. You get a weird adventure no matter what path you choose. The path climbs again up the low hill, covered over the thick bushes. Good grief. Covered over with thick bushes and shrubs that snag at your clothing. Halfway up, you hear a sound. Twigs breaking. Maybe this is the beast. What is that thing? That's still not what I was expecting. It's a giant cat. You freeze as a large creature the size of a bear emerges directly in front of you. It has black and white fur and a long bushy tail that trails out behind. It growls menacingly. Do we prepare to attack it, or do we try to edge around it? Oh, let's just attack it. You will not be able to avoid the confrontation. The creature is a skunk bear. And when it raises its tail, it releases a nauseating odor. The smell that hangs around it is terrible. Can we burn this thing? Is this the thing we're supposed to burn? Because I don't remember ever having to face this thing later. I see we've got pretty much the basics here. So we've got law, so we can control unintelligent creatures. We've got... Okay, we can create multiple us's. We can sap it. We can cause it to be depressed, which is just cruel. We're not going to do that to that poor animal. Actually, let's just do law. Because we have... I don't think that... No, law requires 3 stamina. Can we just play a jig? It's not going to let us play a jig. Darn it. I wanted to watch the creature nap. Cause sleepiness. We need something else for that. Can't do anything with K. This is the only thing that only requires 1 stamina, so... He launched the spell, and a snarl on the face of the creature turns into a glum glower. It is still coming at you, but only half-heartedly, swinging its idle claws. You draw your sword. Maybe that means that it won't attack too hard. Yeah, that's apparently what that means. Let's defend against nothing, and let's attack it again. Maybe this was worthwhile. Oh, it defended. It looks like. Defend. It's not even bothering, is it? Clearly intimidated, it edges toward the tree line, tail up. It's gonna try to spray us, isn't it? It is going to try to spray us. It's just so miserable. It moans and whines, standing up on its hind legs. Whoa! It actually attacked us then. I was not expecting that. It seems as though it is no longer depressed, and it's coming at us with everything it's got. It's like, you know what? I don't want to die here. I'm made to be depressed, but I'll be even more depressed if I die. Well, guess what? You're dead now. Screaming, you rush at the skunk bear, then you swing, then your sword finds a soft place in the skunk bear's body. The beast roars and tumbles to the ground, quite dead. We could try again if we want to go for it without getting any damage, but we're going to live with the creature defeated. You wipe your sword clean and leave the place behind. The path leads down through another valley and back up another hill. 2 hours pass. What an adventure. Oh man, we're approaching Cristanti. How many T's are there? Cristatanti. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. The sun is now just past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You are worn out, almost to the point of physical collapse. You need food and rest, and no more trouble. Today has been too pushing already. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Another night sleeping in the open would be best avoided. But then you see a small village set in a hill. Look at it. Smoke rises from the stacks. The houses are well set, with stone at their bases and thatched roofs of grass and thick leaves. There is, unusually, more than just one street running through the center of town, but it is as though the place, once rich, has had its heart scooped away. Litter surrounds the buildings, and on the edge of the village are rows and rows of empty, abandoned houses. You continue your slow trudge along the path. let's enter the village, and I think... Oh, we can avoid the village, too, if we wanted. Nah, let's go into the village. What's the worst that can happen? You walk into the village. Young hill dwellers pass you and stare at your strange clothes. You nod back respectfully. Look at the people. Their own attire is rough by comparison to your gear. They wear their hair long but piled up on their heads. These people are ghastly poor. The village is like a ghost town here in the knife edge of the backlands. I think that's a good place to call it here. I'm going to stop and make sure all of this footage has gotten recorded in a more or less decent quality and get to editing it. And when we come back, we're either going to rest at an inn or take to an alehouse. And I will see you folks next time. Bye.